Hello there everyone, it's Diggs. I've decided to make another video. I tried to make some videos over Christmas, but obviously I was very busy, and as well as New Year, so that's a no-go. But however, I've been playing a Ranger as well as my Guardian, and this guy's at level 50 now, my Guardian's at level 80 and he's a commander. But this Ranger here has been quite special to me in a case that I've only been leveling him up in WvWWW and doing very simple storyline missions and little quests here and there. But basically, this is a Ranger that's solely built for WvWWW, and you're wondering how, you must be stupid to level, this kind of low level on WvWWW. But actually, it's really, really fun. You actually understand a lot more of your build than you do playing PvE, especially if you're a WvWWW player like myself. So I'm going to run through the build really, really quick. Basically, it's a build that I call Sick'em. That's the build name because of the skill here, Sick'em. You're going to be focusing on your pet. For this, I would use canines because you're not tanking. If you're going to be using tanking, you use bears. But this, I'm using canines. So I've got a snow leopard and a alpine wolf. Just simply because they have great toughness, decent vitality, great power, and also pretty good precision as well for those crits, and they always help. What I'll be focusing on is critical hits and good pet damage. So, we're going to go through the skills and traits first. Let me go through the skills first. Basically, what I'm wielding is a longbow and an axe and Warhorn. The axe and Warhorn is great simply because the axe does great damages and, of course, bleeding for the conditions. This Winter's Bite, it gives the pet's next attack weakness, so his next crit will be even more powerful, which is great. You've got the Hunter's Call to swarm all your foes. This is your main damage, and obviously Call of the Wild to give yourself a little bit of buff, also your pet a little bit of buff as well, and also other players that are around you, because you're not going to be soloing WvWWW when you're lower levels. The first thing you want to be doing is you want to be putting your traits into Beast Mastery. This is my build so far. Bear in mind I am only level 50, so I've got 10 in Marksmanship, 10 in Skirmishing, 5 in Wilderness Survival, and 15 in Beast Mastery. Really, you want to just go for 10, 10, 10, and then 5 in Toughness later on. Well, you could do 5 in Toughness along with the Beast Mastery. Really, however you want to do it is up to you, but I tend to focus on Beast Mastery first because this is a beast, a pet build, and you want to be staying well out of the action and allow your pet just to go out there, take all the damage and do all the damage, and trust me, you do get kills. I have video afterwards proving that, showing you some good crits, and that was when I was really low level, between levels I think it was 20 to 35. I've got videos showing me killing people. So let me just run through this really, really quickly. Your skills, your healer's 1. I like this because it heals you and your pet as well. You'll heal your pet health bar is over here, just in case people don't play Ranger and don't know the dynamics of it all. Your first skill is Signet of the Hunt. This grants your pet and you 25% increased movement as a passive skill. When you activate it, your next pet attack deals more damage, so that gives you a bit of a crit chance as well. This is 24-second cooldown, so it's very, very good to use over and over and over again. Now, the skill that this build is named after, because it's cool, but also because this is great. For 10 seconds your pet does more damage. This is just fantastic. This skill really does great crits. I've got something like 3 to 4k crits. Hopefully I've captured some on the videos I'm going to show you afterwards, and you'll be able to see the crit that the pet does, and the amount of damage that the pet does is actually more than what you do at low levels, which is fantastic. Signet of Stone is another one that I use. Improves more toughness for you and also for the pet, and if you activate this for 6 seconds your pet takes no damage from attacks whatsoever, so this is actually very, very good for defensive stuff. Low levels you won't have an elite, but obviously level 50, well about level 35, level 36 I did have an elite. I like to use Entangle, just simply because it's great for people, great for WvWWW, great for PvE. It's a great PvP skill, and that's including WvWWW as well, just in case I mention PvP. The other one I have is Rampage's 1. I tend not to use that. I haven't used that skill yet, just simply because it has a ridiculous cooldown of 120 seconds. To be honest with you, the 150 seconds for Entangle, you're not going to use it a lot, but it's a skill that you want to have to trap those thieves and to trap various people around you. And the bleed it does, for more or less 9 seconds, 20 stacks of bleeding, nearly dealing 2k damage, is a lot. So those are sort of the skills. You want to be using Sick'em and Signet of the Hunt more or less all the time when they're on cooldown. Signet of the Stone, you want to be using that a little bit sparingly because it is 96 seconds the cooldown. But what I'm going to go through is the weapons. First, I've explained them before, but if you don't like to use a longbow, I like to use a longbow because of the barrage in WvWvW. The barrage is fantastic for WvWvW, especially when you're sieging and defending and doing damage to large groups of people. That's what I like. You can use the shortbow if you want a bit of a shock and awe. A lot of people do use sword and Warhorn for the ranger, but for me, I like my ranger at the lower levels to keep well out of combat. So that's essentially why I use ranged stuff like the axe and the longbow. Basically what we're going to do now is I'm going to move on to the traits. So to move into the traits a little bit more deeply, you're going to try and move into Beast Mastery first, simply because it increases the pet attribute bonus. It doesn't do it a lot, only by 15, but you do notice it quite a bit. The first one is basically you and your pet gain 2 seconds of swiftness when you swap pets. Now the most important thing about this build is to keep your pets alive. You want to swap pets when your pets get to low health, and you can't either use this skill to stop damage or to heal your pet. You can swap your pet by pressing this button over here, and your new pet will respawn to you. I've got a 12-second cooldown. Obviously when you get to 15 Beast Mastery, one of the traits is pet swapping recharges at 20% faster, so that helps me out. But what I do is for Beast Mastery this skill, I tend to use shouts recharge 20% faster because Sick'em is a shout. Another skill you can use instead of, I would say, the Signet of Stone, I tend to swap out, is this one, Guard. Basically this skill, if I quickly show you, enables your pet to move anywhere. Well, I did say anywhere, but I mean it can go all the way down within range. It can go there. So let's say that. Let's say that there, and it also goes into stealth as well. It's in stealth. It's invisible, and it's great. I can call it back by pressing the V. And basically, what this is if you're on top of a keep or on top of a tower, you can press this, and that skill, use that to target the ground, and that pet will then go down. It'll be in stealth until it targets somebody. And I usually target that and use Signet of the Hunt and Sick'em at the same time to do a great deal of damage. And as you can see, you know, these pets have the Snow Leopard has a great amount of precision, a great crit rating instead of toughness. The Alpine Wolf has less toughness, but a little bit more power. So those are the pets that I use. I use kind of like the Juvenile Snow Leopard and the Alpine Wolf. So that's that skill. We'll just leave that in there for now. You want to get Beast Mastery up first. A lot of people like this one. Beast Mastery, lower levels, great for leveling in WvWvW. Keeps you well out of the action, gets your pet right in there. You can swap pets. You can have 2 pets, you know, as you swap them, and it's great. Just use them and you'll be well out of line of fire while you rack up the XP for the kills. And obviously for all the events. Now I tend to alternate after I get to maybe about 5 for Beast Mastery. I like to move it up all the way up to 10, but if I find that I'm lacking while leveling in PvE, doing little quests here and there, and also in WvWvW as well, I tend to go a lot more for a little bit of power, a little bit of precision, and also critical damage as well, because that helps your pets. I did the number 2 skill, chance to cause bleeding on critical hits. That's extremely important. Signets recharge 20% faster. This is a one you must have. This is why I like going Beast Mastery and then power, simply because those signets, you know, that's 24 seconds worth of cooldown. That is nothing for that kind of a signet. For the damage that it can do is, you know, fantastic. And then I've gone for 5 there, just to increase endurance regeneration to make sure I can dodge, because as a ranger you really do need to dodge quite a bit. So it's not really a large video for you to digest. There's not really a lot to digest apart from, you know, the traits that I've used and the skills that I've used. Hopefully the next bit of footage showing the crits will kind of entice you to maybe try this out as a low level ranger and actually use your pets a little bit more often. I noticed that, you know, people think the pets are broken in the game and AreaNet need to do a lot to fix it. Yes, the pets are slightly broken in the game, but it's all about how you use them. You need to make sure you utilise what's there. Rangers have a pet for a reason, and I think even if you're using, you know, a sword build or something like that, use your pet. They're there, they do great amount of crit. Even when I was, you know, only on 5 Beast Mastery, I was doing something stupid, something like, you know, 2-3k crits, which was actually more than I could do, more or less double what I could do, even in WvWvW with my armour scaled up and my stats scaled up. So give the build a go. If you have any questions, post them on and I'll try and answer them as best as I can. As I say, I'm only level 50, so this isn't the complete build yet. My armour is sort of a mix and match of everything, as you can see. I'm trying to get my crit and power up as much as I can, but at the moment I've got a hell load of toughness, which I don't mind, and a lot of vitality as well, being around about 7k, but I don't mind that as my pet's doing most of the work. So I hope you enjoyed the build, and I hope you do get a time to test this one out. Thank you for watching. Okay, so what we're going to look for is the critical hits for the pet. Here you can see a big crit there for the 993. Oh, there's another crit there. This guy's pretty hard to go down. It's a necro, and it's I mean, it'd be better footage of them fighting back, but they're not. It's a crit from the pet. So I'm going to be using the Signet and obviously Sikkim. Don't have my elite skill in this video. I do at the moment. But there you go, the crit for almost 3k there with the pet, which took the necro down. And there you go. Right, move on to the next video now. This is a little bit of a fight. We got a commander here. We got one Mesmer. Now I mostly like to use K9 pets simply because they've got a great crit. You see my pet's critting there. As soon as it's hitting, it's critting because of the skills that I'm using, and the more damage I can deal out, I tend to get a little bit more crit damage using the signets, and obviously using the trait points in Beast Mastery as well. There you go, there was a 15k crit, albeit on a Mesmer clone. And you see there the damage it deals is just it's very good for a level 24 to be dealing 3 to 4k crits. Is what I'm doing at the moment, and it's just standard hits sometimes. But you've got to keep making sure that you're changing your targets constantly, making sure that you're following up using your pet skills. I've got them set to X, C and V. A lot of people normally they are F1, F2, F3. So yeah, make sure they are set correctly to how you want to use them, because you're going to be using it a lot. The pet sometimes will just go after a target, you'll be targeting something else, but normally it does just target what you target. Make sure you heal effectively. Remember that healing just isn't about you anymore, it's about your pet as well. Right now I should have probably focused on that thief. It would have been easier for me to do so. And obviously get a guardian stun, and everybody takes you out simply because they know that you're not wearing the armor that you're meant to be wearing, which does annoy you a little bit. Now this is another small fight, you'd say. It's not a big fight. They're just trying to take a unit that we took, Crag, I believe. It could be called different. There's a massive crit over there with the pet. Even 1500, you get 2.5k, 1400, 1500 hits. 1k, 1500. There you go. So I think a lot of people underestimate the use of a pet build. This build keeps you as the ranger, who don't have such high armor, especially at a lower level, just out of the fight, and lets your pet do all the work, and you can trait into Beast Mastery and your pet will be just as good as anybody else. I tend not to use bears because I'm really not using a pet tank build. I'm using a pet damage build, and with my Signet, which is the Signet of Toughness, my number 9 skill, you can see, that basically stops the pet from taking any damage anyway, and if you're good with the healing, you should be okay. There's a crit there, another, well, not a crit, but big damage. You can see me doing a little bit more damage there. Well, anyway, you can just see the effectiveness of taking them out. I mean, you could solo. I wouldn't suggest soloing, because if someone is going to fight you, it won't do a lot. This build isn't to show those epic fights, it's just to show the damage that this can do. It's kind of like a proof to you that this build does work. I think there's one more fight after this. Yes, there is. Coming up the bridge, south of hills. It's not a long bit. I mean, this is basically it. This is me just showing you the crits that we can do, and effectively utilising the build effectively to get the most damage out of your pet, making sure that you're staying well out of the way. Obviously ensuring that you don't die, and remember to swap your pets as well. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this, and take it easy.